In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up and perform an inverted row. Some people also call this a barbell bodyweight row. This is one of the best barbell exercises that beginners can get started with, and it can also serve a really important purpose for people who are more advanced in their lifting journey. But why I like this exercise is because it's a really good starter exercise to work you up into different types of more advanced barbell rowing exercises. So what I'm going to do in this video is show you exactly how to set up and perform this exercise. There's a lot of different pointers that are important to know about from a technique standpoint and a setup standpoint to make sure you're doing this exercise safely and effectively. So what I want to do first is take you over to the rack behind me with the barbell and walk you through exactly how to set up this exercise. And then we'll dive into some of the finer points of technique and form so that you can get the most out of this exercise when you're doing it. Let's go. There are a number of different variations in which you can do this inverted row with a barbell, and I'm going to start you with a version that's higher up on a squat rack and walk you down to the lower portion of the squat rack. But in general, what you're going to want to do is take a barbell, put it on a pair of J hooks. You can see I have my two hooks here on the squat rack, and you're going to want to make sure wherever you have your barbell placed that you are in a position where you're pulling the barbell into the squat rack. How this is going to work when you start rowing is you're going to be holding on to the barbell and actually rowing your body up into the barbell. And a big mistake that some people make is they put the barbell on J hooks, but what they think is I'm going to row this way, and if you're rowing this way, you can see this barbell can roll all the way up the J hooks and off. And if that happens when you have your body weight pulling on the barbell, you can understand how that could present a big safety risk, because if the barbell comes off, it's going to come back down on you. You're going to go crashing down onto the floor and potentially get really hurt. So again, make sure when you set your barbell up that your barbell and the way that you row is going to be pulling into the squat rack. All right, so if this exercise is new to you, or if you're new to strength training or barbell training, what I would recommend is start with the barbell at about shoulder height up on your rack. The reason for that is the higher up the barbell is, the more variation you're going to be able to give your body to do this with more assistance. It can be really difficult to set up this exercise and just row your body weight right from the start if you don't have a lot of experience. So you can start with the barbell higher up on the rack and then over time lower it to add more resistance and difficulty to the exercise. But when the barbell is up high, like I said, it should be right about shoulder height on the squat rack, and luckily most squat racks have a bunch of different options for you to be able to set up a barbell. And what I would recommend is you grip the barbell just about a little wider than shoulder width, as you can see here, right? And you can sometimes use the knurling to figure out where you want to put your hands in relation to your body. I seem to find that if I put the middle of my thumb right there at the knurling, that's going to give me a grip that is just a little bit wider than shoulder width, okay? And what you can do standing straight up is actually lean back with your grip in place and feel how difficult it is, or perhaps how easy it is, to row your body into that barbell. Because what you want to do in this exercise is row your torso all the way up to the barbell so that it touches, and then lower yourself back down under control all the way back down and row in. Now, for most people, this should be pretty easy because you're working with almost no resistance. So what you can do after you try that is take one step forward. This is going to make it a little bit harder. And then lower your body all the way down and row yourself back up to touch your torso to that bar. You'll be touching your chest area to the bar. And this should feel a little bit more difficult, okay? And what you can do after that is, if that still feels too easy, you can step even a little bit further forward, and as you see, you can continue these different types of variations with sliding your feet out more and more to get to something that is an adequate level of difficulty for you to hit whatever your prescribed reps and set ranges are. So those are some beginner variations to do an inverted row, and now I'm going to take the barbell down on the squat rack and show you how you can do this from the floor. Okay, you can see here that I've lowered my barbell on the squat rack, and how this is going to make the exercise different is that it's going to make it more difficult. You're going to be in charge of rowing more of your body weight into the bar. And it's also going to provide you with the ability to use your feet and your legs, your lower body in different ways to get different variations of this exercise once again to make it either more hard, more challenging, or more easy based on your experience level. So let's walk through what those are. Okay, so since the barbell is lower, what I recommend you do is sit down and get up in front of it with your face or your chest, depending on how tall you are. And that same grip width should still apply, even though the barbell is down lower on the squat rack, because you're still going to be a little bit wider than shoulder width. So that's where I would recommend you start with your grip and get centered at the bar. And then what you can simply do is think about getting onto your flat feet and letting your body hang below the bar. This is going to let you get into a position where you can then row and touch your chest. And there are a few different ways that you can actually row your body to make it harder or easier. So with your feet flat on the floor, you can think about just squeezing your glutes and your core and leveling your torso out, and then rowing your torso up to the bar. This is going to be one of the easier variations when the bar is lower on the squat rack. Now, the other thing that you can do here is to actually, once again, move your feet out away from your body while you're down low holding onto the bar. The further you move your feet away, the harder this is going to get. So if you're hanging here under the bar, you could go as far out as having just your heels on the ground and rowing up to that bar. But anywhere in between is going to be a varying level of difficulty or ease. Now, one last thing you could do is set a bench out in front of you and actually put your heels on this bench. That can further make the exercise more difficult. I'll show you what that looks like. So once again, everything about the setup is the same. Get that grip in place, get yourself hanging below the bar, but then your heels are just going to come up onto the bench, and you would row up to the bar like this. So as you can see, this is a great exercise with a lot of different variations involved. Give it a try. Start up on top of the rack, work your way down, and find the right difficulty level. I hope this video helped. If you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments. Happy training.